Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Inspire Talk. I am Shonda Orlesia, and when you guys see my face, you know what time it is. It is time to get inspired. So, today I am here with a special guest. It's a couple of special guests. It's not just one. So we're interviewing a couple people today, and I'm excited about today's show. We're going to be talking about the issue of autism, and I'm so excited about it because I do have, a few questions to ask about that situation, and I think I have like a couple of experts tonight. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to deep dive into that and whatever else they got going on. So I'm going to bring them up one by one. We have Mr. Steve Cohen.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to
Hey,
see you,
Steve,
Shonda.
how are you? Nice to see you too, Steve. And then we have Miss Priscilla. Now, I want to make sure I say that. Is that Leto or Leto?
Leto.
Leto. Okay. How you doing, Miss Priscilla?
Good. How are you, Shonda? Thank you for
I
having us.
Not a problem. And then we have Nat, but last but not least, Mr. Richard Snyder. How are you, sir? Uh-oh, I said that wrong.
It's
Hold on. Say that, pronounce it for me.
sure it's Schreiber. It's German. It's got a little
Schreiber.
R in there, but you were close.
Oh,
So
see, I was close. I don't like to mess with
you get
nobody's
brownie
name
points.
because thank you so much. How are you guys doing this evening?
Very
Terrific.
good.
I'm doing great.
That's good. That's good. So, what I like to do is, as I stated earlier, I like to let you all tell a little bit about yourself. I don't care who go first. You guys can go ahead and just let the audience that is on YouTube as well as on Inspiration 98.7 radio, internet radio, let them know a little bit about you guys.
Ladies first.
Indeed.
So my name is Priscilla Leto. I'm the president of Mission Kids Success. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We're all volunteer. We
Mhm.
help families that have children with autism and related conditions like ADHD, sensory processing disorders, OCD, or any other type of neurodevelopmental condition. We help them get funding for services and therapies that are not covered by insurance.
Okay.
I have an 18-year-old son who's on the spectrum. He was helped a lot by various therapies throughout the years, and we spent a lot of money on it. And there's
Okay.
a big need for helping families to be able to provide that for their children. So that's what we do.
Okay, that's awesome. That's real awesome. Now I'm gonna let y'all know something. If y'all see me look away, I'm producing everything, so I'm making sure y'all look good over here. Okay. So I'm
That's
a
a
one
tall
one this
order.
time.
I have my radio face on, of course. I have no choice
Oh,
in that matter.
okay. So since you're talking, Richard, why don't you go next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Richard Schreiber. I'm the founder of the Autism Innovation Community Foundation, as well as the New York City Autism Community Group. I'm inspired by my now 18-year-old daughter, who was diagnosed with autism at age 7. We had a particularly interesting and challenging journey, similar to what Priscilla went through. We got kind of directed into the mainstream solutions at the outset, which is
Hmm.
kind of typical.
Hmm.
And they didn't work for us and for our daughter. So we had to pivot and migrate more towards holistic and alternative and being a techie, um, tech-oriented solutions for autism. And that's what our foundation is about. It's really helping put on events like this one with our
Okay.
partner foundations here, to really pass the word to parents that, hey, there are alternatives out there to just the mainstream stuff. So happy to be here.
Okay. All right, Mrs. Steven, you're next.
Yeah, so I'm a New York City-based stand-up comedian, and last year, one of my friends did a stand-up joke about face blindness, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. That sounds like me." I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, that is me." And I told him, and he went, "Of course you're face blind. It's because you're autistic." And I was shocked by that, and I wanted to prove him wrong. So I went and I took the test,
Hmm.
and I got an A. I'm
Okay.
autistic. So it was a really big moment of self-discovery. I have learned a lot in the last year, and it's brought me into contact with wonderful people like Richard and Priscilla. And through their help and through just kind of finding a connection to the autistic community, I have started my own nonprofit. I'm the founder of Autism Jokes. Our goal is to connect autistic and disabled people with comedians and other artists to help learn how to become more confident, communicate more confidently, specifically, and also to find creative outlets.
That is amazing. That's amazing. So let me ask a question. How did you three get together?
I believe I messaged Richard first.
Yeah.
That's how I connected to you.
Hmm.
Yep. And then
And
Richard
then,
brought us all together.
yeah,
Okay.
I know Priscilla for a number of years, and in fact,
Mhm.
we got to know each other when I was investigating a particular type of ultimately autism support that her son had
Mhm.
gone through that um, I recommended for my and ultimately employed for my daughter, and we
Mhm.
became friends. And I admire her foundation for what it does, and we kind of all came together on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a really beautiful experience. I was a little bit nervous when I met Priscilla because she's from New Jersey, but it turns out she's a really good person, anyways.
I love it. So, Priscilla, what do you think about these two guys? Ain't there a bunch of characters right now?
It's definitely been fun and interesting.
That's okay. That is amazing. So, okay, so we hear the word autism. Some people know what it is, some people don't know what it is. So, Priscilla, I did hear that you said your son, am I correct,
Yes.
is autistic. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your challenges, or not even challenges, your journey with your son of
Okay.
being autistic?
Yeah. So I know it presents very differently in each person. So for
Mhm.
him, he was diagnosed when he was 4. He actually got diagnosed a little bit late. Things were different 18 years ago. There wasn't as much awareness of that back then. And I was told, there's nothing you can really do. You can put him on medication. You put him in a special
Mhm.
school. He already was in a special school, and we weren't given very much hope.
Mhm.
And I never put him on the medication at that age. Not that I have anything against medication, but there's other. I don't like that to be the first line of defense if there is like a core issue that could be
Mhm.
worked on.
Mhm.
So it bothered me that there's got to be something that we could do. So we did a
Yeah.
lot of research. We found alternative therapies that, especially back then, were considered not mainstream. That were considered
Mhm.
alternative back then,
Mhm.
again, 18 years ago. So things are a little different now, but back then those were considered alternative and not medically necessary. And nothing was covered by insurance. And it was, the difference of night and day of the difference in his development. I really don't
Mhm.
know what his quality of life would be like now if we didn't do what we did back then.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he has a much brighter future and able to have a very good quality of life compared to if we would have listened to the doctors that told me that we couldn't do anything. But again, it was nothing's covered by insurance that we did, so we did spend a lot of money over the years, and that
Mhm.
always bothered me that if a family couldn't be able to afford that, what do they do for their child to help them have that type of quality of life that they can interact with the
Mhm.
world in a better, healthier way in the future. Um, so that's how the organization got started, um,
Okay.
through that experience.
Okay. And Mr. Steve, for you, how is your take on autism? Because I know, you joked about it. How is your take on autism?
I honestly knew very little to nothing about what autism was when my friend told me. He was the third autistic person to have told me that I was autistic. My stepfather was the first. My stepfather, I love him, but he says a lot of rude things. I thought he was just thought he was just insulting me. I don't know, looking back now, why an autistic person would insult someone by telling them that they're also autistic. So my bad for not getting that. But it's been a beautiful experience. And I just want to pause for a second and say that Priscilla's son, Matthew, has come out to a comedy show and is probably the best laugher I've ever had in a room. He knows exactly when to laugh, and it's very boisterous. And I'm excited that he'll be coming to this next show. Um, for me, it shows up as a lot of sensory issues. I just assumed everybody else in the room was getting angry when it was loud. I assumed that everybody else felt like their teeth felt soft. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
Hope that you didn't get knocked out. I assumed everybody else felt like their teeth got soft when they touched velvet. I didn't know that these were weird things, and I guess I didn't really share these feelings out loud because I just thought that they were normal. There's a lot of other ways it appears for me, and some of that's mixed. I have AUDHD, which is autism and ADHD combined in this really beautiful way that makes me quirky. I get called quirky a lot. I have rejection sensitive dysphoria, which is more on the ADHD side. So sometimes I'll think an audience hates me, and then I get off stage and I watch the video, and they in fact they liked all my jokes. I was just experiencing something different from reality. And then other times it will appear for me as me being overwhelmed and then acting out in a way that is really outside of me. It feels like I've been taken control of in a way. So it's been really interesting to learn, and I feel like every day I learn some new word, some new phrase, some new concept attached to it.
That's amazing. And it's great how you can take your journey and put it into an art form and then uplift other people. That's so great. I appreciate doing something like, because a lot of people don't know how to take their story and put it into some sort of art form to entertain folks. So I truly admire that in you, Mr. Steve. I do.
Thank you so much for
So
saying that. That's so kind of you.
you're welcome. And Mr. Richard, so you stated
Damn.
that one of your child, how is your journey through the autism? And I know I did hear you say something about a holistic approach and things like that. How was your journey with this autism?
Yeah, our story was a little bit started out similar to Priscilla. Our daughter wasn't diagnosed until age 7,
Okay.
and we were educated parents, and she was first diagnosed with ADHD, then Asperger's. And
Okay.
my wife and I said, "Ask what?" So we didn't really understand what it was. And like what's very typical that I think is still true today is we were kind of directed by the people in healthcare, pediatricians, and or the educational system to seek out traditional mainstream services. I think that Priscilla alluded to, which in our case consisted of a pharmaceutical aid and what's commonly known as ABA or applied behavioral analysis services, which can be very cookie cutter and almost very boilerplate. And first of all, our daughter was put on Adderall after 2 other drugs didn't seem to work well. And in retrospect, it was a real, we really regretted that decision. ABA services, you hear a lot of discourse about and a lot of criticism about that, but that's like, imagine trying to take who you are and make it behave differently to conform with what societal standards are. And that's what it's like. It's kind of a very dehumanizing process, or can be, for someone with autism who's told, well, we don't really like the way you behave, so we want to modify that to someone who to more of a neurotypical standard. But for us, the drugs really produce what we now, as a family, have referred to as our watershed moment. When my daughter graduated from elementary school at age 10, which was supposed to be a happy moment, she was standing off by herself when I went to pick her up, crying, which she never did. And she told me that, Daddy, for 6 years, no one at that school wanted to be my friend. And that was because of the drugs. It just
Oh, wow.
stupefied her and emaciated her. And, elementary school towards the end can get a little mean. So that was a wake up call from my wife and I. And so then we pivoted, as Priscilla did, to looking at more homeopathic and holistic options for our daughter. We took her off Adderall. My wife became an expert at essential oils. We added some supplements to the mix. And I know the term transformative is often overused, but that was the case with our daughter. She just automatically just opened up like the proverbial flower, and just everything that she was that was being repressed by the drugs really just came out, and she just became this larger than life big personality and really opened up, and to this day you can't shut her up. And she's really become a remarkable young woman. And like with Priscilla, we figured, wow, maybe we can help other families not make some of the same mistakes. So we created a local community group here in New York City. We used to put on events before COVID, just to have a place where kids on the spectrum could come and just be themselves, and the parents could chat and exchange ideas. Because what's really critical from a parent standpoint is to understand that we are not alone. That sometimes we kind of circle the wagons, I call it, and think because we know the uniqueness of our child that no one else can really help us. And that's not really the case. We can learn a lot from each other. And, our foundation, later on, we put on an event where we demonstrated a lot of innovative and holistic and tech-oriented solutions for families with members on the spectrum. And that's really what our foundation is about. And here's a horrible plug for my book, but I just wrote a book.
Oh no! Yeah, I wanted to see that. I was going to ask you about that. Okay,
Sure.
you wrote a book. Okay, that says Autism Care Solution.
Autism Care Revolution, because
Revolution. Okay.
As again, what Priscilla and I really have come to see is that the way autism care is oriented in America and around the world, for that matter, just doesn't really suit people with autism. Most of the mainstream methods, or in some cases, are even harmful. As Priscilla said, they're not covered by insurance. We've spent a lot of money as well with our daughter's autism care. So there needs to be a paradigm change in the medical community, both in the way they provide coverage and services, as well as a shift in what's covered through insurance. Because right now that is a huge gap. There's a lot of innovation now coming out. And one of the things we talk about is through technology and things like artificial intelligence, there's some incredible advance and progress being made in things like early detection, diagnoses, early intervention, robots that can interface with nonverbal autistic children and actually teach them how to relate and ultimately speak. So there's a lot of amazing things coming out of that, but none of that will be covered by insurance.
Okay. So let me ask you all a question. Are there any like signs or something that lets you guys know that there was something wrong, as well as you, Mr. Steven, that lets you know that something was different or something was not right with your child and yourself, Mr. Steve?
Sure. I think a major sign that parents could probably pick up on is if their kids say they want to become tech billionaires. It's probably a good, quick way
and they're
tell.
Not looking at you when they say that.
Yeah. Or if they're just intensely. See, I'm on the opposite side. I just intensely make eye contact with everyone's eyebrows all the time. I used to be in sales, and I had a sales manager that was always like, "Why aren't you looking at me?" And so I started doing that, and then I stopped listening because I was just thinking about looking at your eyes. But anyways, now I just do it. Yeah, I think that there are a lot of signs that you can be looking for in kids or adults, but also it's good to remember that everyone is on the spectrum. And just because you see those signs doesn't mean that person is autistic or ADHD. They may just show it a little bit more than other people. And that's been a problem for me for the first year, to keep myself from being like, oh, hey, you do that autistic thing, you're autistic. It was unfair of me, but real easy. I think that if you see someone with headphones on, a good thing to do is just be careful if you notice them and they're within your realm, to assume that they may have a sensory issue, and try not to be too loud with them when they take those headphones off. People that you see with sunglasses indoors, you can assume it's probably for sensory or anxiety issues, and just try to treat them with respect. But at the end of the day, autism is an invisible illness, and you can't really see autism on I have a stand-up joke, but I'm not going to do that stand-up joke there. You can't see, you can't see autism. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult.
Okay. Miss
For
Priscilla.
us, a big thing that I had people tell me, you call his name, he doesn't answer you.
Okay.
That was the big thing with us. And I was a little bit in denial. I was a lot in denial when he was very young, because, you don't want to hear that, there's going to be, and that, nobody really understood that time too, like really what that meant. And I didn't have any other like kids around at that time to compare to, like to say, well, there's something, that's going on. So that's why it took us till he was 4 to get him diagnosed. And it was mostly you would call his name, he wouldn't answer. His language kind of regressed at some point. Like he seemed like he was speaking up till a point, and then it just kind of stopped. And he would say words, but it was just to the air. It wasn't to anybody. It was just like, he'd just like say like pizza, Batman. He would just like walk around and kind of say things, or he would repeat back things that you said, but there was no like spontaneous language. There was no, if you asked him a question, you'd maybe get a yes or no. There was no like back and forth conversation. And he'd bang into walls. He has a proprioception issue. So he still to this day has a proprioception issue. That's a lot of his challenges stem from. So you sit in a chair and you feel yourself in that chair. He sits in a chair where he stands up. He doesn't feel his body like a typical person would. So when he's standing or he's doing anything, he's always trying to kind of balance himself. And it was a lot worse when he was little, and he would kind of just bang into walls. He would be a really hard time for him to walk upstairs or walk downstairs. He didn't have a sense of smell. There was a lot going on that, thankfully through everything that we were able to do, he's conversational. He's got definitely a much better sense of himself than he did then. Eye contact is better. It's still not the typical eye contact, but he will like interact with people and have conversations and talk on the phone. And so there's been a lot of progress through the years with him. And he still has a lot of anxiety and other things going on, but the difference in his quality of life through all the therapies is, night and day.
Okay. That's I mean, I can't imagine what you guys are going through as parents, and as someone going through it. But I do want to congratulate you guys, because you guys, the reason why I want to congratulate you guys and give you guys your flowers is because as parents, we know that that's hard. We know that it's hard looking at our child or our children going through this, and we don't know which way to go, which way to turn to get them help. We're trying to get them the help the best way we can, and I know it could be challenging to you guys, and I truly want to give you guys your flowers for doing what you can, starting these organizations for other people that's going through it, like you said, and sharing each other's information and each other's stories on how they can get through it. So I truly want to give you guys your flowers and commend you guys as being some awesome parents. You guys rock. You guys rock.
Thank you so much, Shonda.
Mhm.
You're
Appreciate that.
welcome. So we have an event coming up this Saturday. Who wants to start first about talking about it? Let's talk to the comedian because I know you're going to tell jokes, aren't you?
Sure. Yeah, but not here. Like I said, I'm not here to be funny today. I'm here to just talk about serious things. But the show's going to be at 3 o'clock on Saturday, guys. Am I right? Okay, gosh. At West Side Comedy Club, over at 75th Street in Amsterdam, underneath Playa Betty's restaurant. And everything is going to be going to charity, to the 3 different nonprofits, or 4 different nonprofits that we work with. We're going to have well, I'm really excited. I just found out we're going to be having retired NFL players showing up, as
Oh,
well
that's
as
amazing.
yeah, as well as a New York City politician, Gail Brewer, who I've never gotten to meet in person, but a lot of my friends are huge fans of her, so that's really neat. We'll also have a comedy quiz game show at the start to kind of get people to learn about autism while they laugh, and then we'll have about an hour of stand up from some different autistic stand-ups, as well as a stand-up comedian who has an autistic child. So you'll be getting a lot of jokes about experiencing the spectrum from both sides, which I think is really fun and hopefully enlightening to the audience at the same time.
That's amazing. Now, who started the is it Comedy for Autism? Am I saying that correct? Or Autism for Comedy, something like that? Who
The
started?
comedy show's called Autism Jokes. I had done it a couple times before and just given the money to charities before I started my own nonprofit.
Hmm.
And this time, Richard and Priscilla were kind enough to come in and help me because Um, I'll tell you, being an autistic person, there are little things I would never expect. We really just need help with. We get stuck in certain places, and Priscilla and Richard have really helped me drive through those or taken care of them in a lot of cases. And I want to give them their flowers. I've never heard that phrase, but that's a beautiful phrase. Um, and really, it just feels like a great team effort. And so I'm looking forward to not only this show, but future shows that we do for autism jokes.
That's
Um,
amazing.
and the name is just to say like, hey, it's okay. I hear people say don't make jokes about autism, and I think that that's not the right way to look at it. I think it's very important to make jokes about every situation and every condition in life. I think it's just important to
Mhm.
make sure that you're punching up. And luckily, since I have autism, I can just punch myself, and so people can enjoy that as well.
That's amazing. I'm excited. I'm not going to be there, but I'm trying to see if I can get. I do have Miss Camille. I'm not sure if she's coming, but if she can come, I do want her to, take some pictures, go live or something from there. Because I do want to. I'm not going to be able to be there physically, but I do want to get a chance to like kind of be there in presence, virtual if I could. But I feel that it's going to be a truly amazing event. Are you guys selling tickets or anything for the event?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so can you want to tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that, Richard?
Well, the tickets are available actually on Steve's website, I believe, autismjokes.com.
Okay.
There's also an Eventbrite. We can certainly provide the links and that. We're also taking donations
Yeah.
for our foundations, because
Hmm.
that will enable us to put on more events like this. And this is
Hmm.
kind of our inaugural three-pronged, three-headed program together. But the combination of music that we have, laughter, um, we have some exhibitors who will be providing some key homeopathic and other types of information and solutions.
Hmm.
So, as Steve said, we're hoping to use this as a starting point to put on other events like this to reach other communities, perhaps even on a larger scale at some point.
Hmm.
Um, so we're very grateful for this first opportunity and grateful to the West Side Comedy Club for their generosity in giving us the space and all their support throughout. and as well as Priscilla's cavalcade of sponsors and people that have really supported us throughout this entire venture as well.
That's amazing. Now, are you guys, so I hear you saying that you guys are doing it there. Are you guys looking in the future to take it to other locations or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In fact,
Priscilla's
I'll have a
predominantly has New Jersey. I'm sorry, Steve. Go ahead.
no. Yeah, go on about New Jersey. I can mention the other thing next.
Yeah, so Priscilla wants to do a road show in New Jersey. She has a huge presence and following there, and we might
Okay.
find a larger venue actually in terms of seating. So that might be our next locale, or perhaps to other boroughs in New York City. So
Yeah.
we're certainly excited to see where this leads.
Yeah, and I'm also talking to people in Staten Island and Queens. And I also run the social media for a comedy club in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So I plan to have a show there in October. But yeah, if anyone that's listening has an idea of a space that might be good for it, that would like to see, autistic and autistic adjacent comedians in their area, please, reach out to us through one of our websites. And we'd love to talk about it.
That's amazing. Did you want to say something, Miss Priscilla?
Yeah, we're hoping that we can replicate this and possibly do it quarterly at different locations, and I think that would be great. And have like a rotating lineup of comedians so that we can showcase their talents. Not just we were talking too about making it more variety show. We do have a great musical guest that's coming for our show this time. And we'd like to continue that where it's going to be a variety of autistic performers that we can showcase their talents. That'd be nice.
That's amazing. Like I said, once again, I commend you guys for all the work and everything that you guys are doing out there. Let me see. I think I do have the flyer. I told y'all I'd be doing everything. Let me see. I do have the information. Let me go ahead and pull that up. Because I want to share that with everyone. Okay. I can't get it pulled up. Let's see. Oh, it don't want to show right now. Really?
Uh,
Okay, this is so funny. Okay. So if you can someone go ahead and tell us where they can donate and anything like that, and then I'll put it across the bottom of the screen.
Sure. So the tickets are on sale either at autismjokes.com. So that's the easiest one to remember. And then also we have another site that is givebutter.com/autismjokes24. So tickets are available on either of those, and donations can be made on either of those sites as well.
Okay, you said Give Butter.
Yes. givebutter.com/autismjokes24.
Okay, so I'm gonna get that up. Wait, let me see. I don't think I spelled that right. Oh, yes, I did. Okay, I thought I didn't spell it right. Oh no, I didn't do that. Sorry.
It's okay. That was a fun. That was a fun roller coaster.
Okay, so waiting on it to add, save. There we go. So I'm gonna put this up on the bottom of the screen. So did I do that right? Autismjokes.com, and then the other one is Give Butter,
Oh,
right?
the second one should be /AUTISM
I knew
jokes
something was going on.
24, and I think it's all one word.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, it's all one word. Okay, let
I
me go
do that
ahead
all the
and
time. I know I'm dyslexic when it comes to the word autism. Can't take a
Yeah,
hint.
I just have autocorrect on everything, everywhere, all of the
I know.
time.
I know that. I see with mine. It is what is the thing? Grammarly. Grammarly is my best friend. The
Yes.
Grammarly, yeah, Grammarly will check you on everything. Be like, you just not letting this go through without it being correct. There it is. Is that correct?
There we go. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, so if you guys want tickets, if you guys want to donate, these are the two websites you can go to: autismjokes.com and givebutter.com/autismjokes24. So you guys make sure you go there and donate. This is an amazing, good cause. Like I said, I wish I could be there to listen to Mr. Steve tell jokes because I know he's just gonna have everybody's stomachs hurting the entire night. So I wish I can really be there. Um. What I want to say is before we let you guys go ahead, because I know you guys have a lot of work to do and things coming up. Um do you guys have any other projects going on that's with Mr. Steve? And then I know you said that you guys have a community where people can come together. For those people that are there where you all guys are, is there somewhere where they can sign up or where they can find how to be a part of what you guys got going on, or if they need help, can they go somewhere for that?
So I apologize that I'm like in the dark here. I'm hiding from my family in my back porch. Because there's nowhere in my house that's quiet. It's really bad.
We can still see you. That's what's great. We can still see you.
It's the shirt. It's the shirt is
I
reflecting.
thought you were filming a vampire movie or something.
Yeah, sorry. It's just I have nowhere to hide. And I didn't realize that it gets so dark so early now. I'm used to the summer. But so what we do is we provide grants for families to get services and therapies that are not covered. We are opening up our grant applications sometime this fall. We're working on it. So families can, if they're looking for therapy for their child and they're having a hard time affording it and they're not able to do the program that they want to do, they can come to us and they can present to us that they're looking for funding for that program, and we could potentially partially fund what they're looking to do. So we've given out over 100,000 in grants since 2019. So we are going to have that available where the applications are going to be open sometime this fall. So if anybody's interested, they can go to missionkidsuccess.org / let me make sure I get this right.
Mission Kid Success
/ get-help.
Is it the dash like the okay, like the minus sign, right?
Yes.
Okay. Correct?
Yes. Oh no, missionkidsuccess.org.
Okay, .org.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then / get-help. That should take them to it. And they can see all the eligibility criteria out there. And if they're eligible, they can email us. There's an email address on that website. It's mks@missionkidsuccess.org. And they can email us to ask to be put on the notification list when the applications are open.
Okay. Okay, so y'all see it, missionkidsuccess.org. If you guys, looking for help, trying to get help, if you have or know a family that needs help with this autism, they're willing to help. Mission Kids is willing to help you guys with this because they've been there and they've gone through it. They're still going through it. So they're there to help you in whatever you need help with. So you guys make sure you go ahead, get to the website, missionkidsuccess.org / get -help. So make sure you go there. If you know anyone, give them the information. Tell them to tune in to Inspiration 98.7 and get the information. Because look, I'm gonna tell Miss Priscilla, hey, I got somebody. They down there, they need help. I'm that one.
And it's not just autism too, it's any neurodevelopmental condition. So it can be ADHD, it can be learning disabilities, OCD, sensory processing, visual processing disorders, anything like that.
Now, is that do you guys just fund in your area or do you fund worldwide?
So it's all of New Jersey and then the surrounding counties of New York, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Under 21.
Okay, perfect. Now, Mr. Steve, do you have anything coming up that you want people to know about and to be a part of?
Yeah, I have shows almost every night, including tonight. After this, I'm going to be rushing off to go do one.
Okay.
And you can check me out at www.stevecohen.fun.
Yes.
Also, any social media, I'm at Steve Cohen Fun.
SteveCohen.fun.
Yep. Steve Cohen.boring was already taken, so couldn't get it.
Okay, so you guys, that's where you could go. Wait, I need to fix that. So you
Nah, they'll
can
know.
go
It's
to
okay.
see.
Hell no.
So it's www dot.
Yep.
Okay.
SteveCohen.fun.
Okay. And you have a show tonight. So we won't hold you because we don't want you to rush too off. So we won't hold you, but I would like for you, before I let you go, I would like for you to give those that are listening. I don't let anybody leave my show without giving an inspiration quote or talk. I don't let anybody leave. So if you can leave us with that one motivational inspiration thought that you may have for something.
Yeah, I think the main point of my nonprofit, the goal of my nonprofit for people with autism, especially, trying to
Mhm.
connect them to comics. I've met so many that feel like they've made a mistake
Mhm.
socially,
Mhm.
and instead of trying to get past that mistake, they just stop communicating. They close themselves off. They
Mhm.
go into their rooms and barely come out except for when they have to.
Mhm.
And what I've learned from stand up comedy is you have to fail to succeed. You have to go on stage and tell that same joke 20 times and not get a laugh before you figure out that all you have to do is tell the joke and tap your ear
Yeah.
or change one word in the middle of it. And then all of a sudden it's the best joke you've ever told.
Mhm.
And you have to just keep failing and accepting that it's not really failure. It's just you working towards getting it right.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, Mr. Steve, thank you so much because I know you got to get to a show and I truly appreciate you being here. And I know everyone can't wait to see you on Saturday.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Richard and Priscilla, it was nice seeing your faces. I barely ever get to see them.
All right.
Right
Bye,
on.
Mr.
Bye. Nice to
Steve.
meet you, Shonda. Thank you so
You as
much.
well. Not a
Great job
problem.
tonight.
Take care. And if
All
I could
right.
just
Talk to
mention real quick, the
you.
NYC Autism Community, we have an active Facebook page, a Facebook group that's closed, and we help people in the 5 boroughs with
Right.
to answer any
Yeah,
questions.
I was going to get to you about that because I
Oh,
do know that you do some stuff. So we were just saying bye to Mr. Steve because he has
oh,
to rush off.
Yeah.
see ya.
Okay, so now can you go ahead and explain that? Now you don't have to rush.
Yeah, so we also have the NYC Autism Community. That's the name of our Facebook group,
Hmm.
um, where we have about, I think about 2,000 in our closed group now, and
You said
parents and
NYC?
NYC Autism Community. I
Okay.
guess in the Facebook world, that's our moniker. And
Okay.
yeah, it's an active group where parents and caregivers can post questions or make recommendations or organizations or information about what they do.
Hmm.
We post a lot of Priscilla's stuff there for the wonderful foundation that she has and provides, um, to give back. Because what we discovered and what I think I said earlier is the approach that we all need to take is that we're not alone. You know, we're
Hmm.
together on this. The more we can band together and help each other out and share what works, what doesn't work, lean on each other for support, emotional support. I mean, that's really what it is. It literally does take a village, I guess, is the term
Yeah.
that's often used.
Hmm.
And yeah, the last thing I would just say is what we talk about in the book too is, parents have to, we stepped up and realized that we had to become our daughter's fierce advocate. And I know
Yeah.
that Priscilla was played that role as well. And sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to really go beyond the norm, to
Yeah.
seek solutions that aren't mainstream, that are, we're not talking about witchcraft, but we're talking about, some things that may not get quite as much press or notoriety or be FDA approved.
Hmm.
Um, but again, we have to give ourselves permission to make our own informed decisions sometimes outside of the norms.
Yeah.
And that's what we both believe in our respective foundations.
And that's so amazing. Like I said, I truly appreciate that the work that you guys are doing and you're trying to get the message out there to everyone to bring awareness to them because it is some I don't want to call them illnesses, I don't want to call them deficiencies. It is some journeys that people are going through in their life that no one understands and it's not highlighted enough for people to know what's going on. And I'm glad that you guys are bringing awareness to autism, not just for yourselves and your family, but you're doing it for other families as well. So I truly do commend you all for doing that.
Thank you again. It's one of the largest growing diversity groups in the world.
Hmm.
So we do need to shine a light on it and
Yeah,
open up some eyes and ears and hearts uh,
yeah.
for these wonderfully gifted and talented and loving people, just like the
Hmm.
rest of us deserve.
Now, since your children have gone through it and they got older, what have you guys as children decided to do with their lives, or have they had any plans to do anything like to be doctors, lawyers? Have they decided what they want to do when they grow up?
I'll defer to Priscilla because I don't know if her son wants to be a linebacker for the Chiefs or not. He's a pretty big kid,
He's
and
a
he
kid.
could he could probably be good at football because he doesn't feel the contact.
Richard's daughter is incredibly talented, by the
Okay.
way. Very artistic and creative.
Okay.
Um, Matthew's in a transition program right now. He just
Okay.
graduated from high school and
Okay.
he's in a program. He just started, but he will be doing a job sampling where he goes to a different place every day
Hmm.
to try different jobs. He doesn't really know, I think, what he wants to do
Hmm.
yet, but we'll see. He was always very interested in video production,
Okay.
so that may be the route that he tries to go down.
Hey, that's amazing. Tell him, okay. Tell him we're gonna have our eyes out for him because I'm gonna be looking out for him because I feel that I can see that. I can see that. Okay. Well,
and
your daughter.
and my daughter's 18. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
She's a freshman in college. She goes to college locally here at Borough of Manhattan Community College. She's wants to be an animator and a game designer. She actually started as a cartoonist. She went to Art and Design High School, one of the
Oh
really
wow.
fine specialty schools here in the city,
Hmm.
and developed her own unique characters, cartoon
Wow.
characters. And I can't take the credit, but I always advised her, well, you should try to animate those and tell the story around it. And I think
Hmm.
that's what she's up to now. So yeah, she has her sights on hopefully working at Nickelodeon or Disney or someplace like that. Um, in her future. So and she's talented. So and she's driven. She works really hard, long
Hmm.
hours, and she's we're blessed.
That's
Clearly, I think that's the one thing we both have in common is, and you know, being a parent of an autistic child is a lot of hard work, a lot of struggles.
hmm.
But I know I can only speak for myself, but I know that God's had His eye on my daughter since she was very, very young, and
Yes.
she's gifted and blessed, and so are we.
That's amazing. And I'm so I'm glad to hear these stories because a lot of people, some wouldn't share their stories or share the things because they, like you said, they think that they should hide or they feel embarrassed because what's going on with their child. But I'm excited about your children's future. A person's going to become a videographer, another one's going to be doing anime. I cannot wait to see what the world has for them, and I'm excited. And they can sit and tell the story that they have overcome adversity. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Well, we have come to the end of our show, and I truly appreciate both of you guys being
Thank
here. So, one more time, um, just go over a little bit, Miss Priscilla or either Mr. Richard. Can you just go over the show, just a little bit about what the show is going to be about on Saturday for those that are just joining us?
Sure. Priscilla, you want to give it a shot?
Sure. So it's going to be a really fun day of music, comedy, game show, prizes. We're going to be highlighting the talents of autistic performers. It's going to be at the West Side Comedy Club, which is Upper West Side of New York City. And it's below a really great restaurant, Playa Betty's, which is a California beach food restaurant. So it's a really cool place. And it's going to be at 3:00. And it's just going to be a fun, really fun day. We're going to have some former NFL players there. And we're just looking to have a really great time while, increasing awareness around autism and around the possibilities that there are. Again, tickets can be bought at autismjokes.com or givebutter.com/autismjokes24. Love to see everybody there and just have a really fun time.
Indeed, it promises to be a fun day and a lot of fun jokes and comedy. We know, and humor and laughter is so good for the soul. It really helps us to get sometimes past our stresses and anxieties and things like that. So we're very mindful that it'll have a really good positive effect.
That's great. That's great. So I want to take this time to thank you guys for being a part of Inspired Talk. Because as you know, I tell everybody we inspire to uplift, motivate, and empower and bring awareness to all situations. I want to thank you guys for shedding a light on autism, you guys' journey with your family, also the upcoming events you have. So I truly appreciate all of that you have done, and what you are doing. As I did for Mr. Steve, and this is for the both of you all, I want you guys to think of something that you will want to leave our listeners with. Um, what advice or what inspiration quote that you would want to leave with our listeners that are tuning in today on both YouTube as well as Inspiration 98.7 Radio?
So I would say to parents, just don't give up and don't listen to necessarily what people may say to you if it doesn't sit right with you. Do your own research and find what types of options are out there that would be right for your child and see if that's something that might work, and try to figure out what the core issues that your child has and not just look at surface level therapies. Really look at therapies that are going to address the core issues that your child has and why they are coming out as surface level behaviors. Try to address those first and do a lot of research. Just like it'd be a great little plug for Richard. His book is a really great resource to talk about exactly that. So that's what I would tell parents. Don't give up and do your own research and be your own advocate.
And thanks for the plug.
Where can they get your book from, Mr. Richard?
Oh, it's on Amazon, so you can find it. Autism Care Revolution. It's available in paperback or as a ebook, so you can download the Kindle version of it.
Okay.
Soon, also, it may be available on Audible. If I can figure out how to have AI reproduce my voice, that's probably in the near future as well.
Okay. And what would be inspiration or motivational quote that you would leave with our listeners today?
Yeah, I know Priscilla covered a lot. I like to think about, my wife and I are very devout, and certainly the presence of God in our life has been really instrumental throughout. There's an awful stat that I heard: 87% of families that are parents rather of special needs children unfortunately end up in divorce. And it's really about, coming together as parents, realizing that no matter how bad the struggles get, that you just persevere and work together, put ego and blame aside, and do what's best really ultimately for your child.
Mhm.
And never blame yourself. Things happen for a reason. I know from my own perspective, you know, my daughter is in many levels the greatest gift to me, but more so because she's given me a greater purpose in life, and she's opened up the ability, as Priscilla's son did, to help others and to really become bigger than ourselves in supporting others in this space. And that's our legacy, is to really make as much of a difference as we can, to help people better understand people with autism. They're just another diversity group, um, but they're pretty special people. And the parents that raise them and help and guide them, they're the real heroes. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that necessarily about myself, but that's been my experience. It takes a heroic effort, and it does take a village.
Yeah.
My family on both sides has been incredibly inspirational to us, and I'm very humbled by the great amount of support that they've given us and the acceptance of our daughter. It's just a beautiful thing if we all come together.
Mhm. That is so great. So I want once again I want to thank you guys for being a part of today's show. Um, it's truly been inspiring, and I'm so glad that you guys were here to share your story, as I said before. So I want to thank you, and I hope everyone that's tuning in, you guys, go ahead. If you are in the New York area up that way, make sure you guys go get the ticket and support this amazing foundation for autism. If you know someone that needs help, you can that needs help with getting resources or anything like that in the same location, you can go to kidssuccess.org/get dash help. Also, make sure you guys go to Amazon and get Mr. Richard's book. It is a good tool. He wrote some things down that him and his family went through in regards to caring for a child. Am I correct? With autism. So make sure you guys go there and get his book. It is called, what is that again?
Autism Care Revolution.
Autism Care Revolution. I can't even talk. Make sure you guys go to Amazon and get his book. Um, I guarantee you, it probably changes someone's life. So thank you all for tuning in to Inspire Talk, and we will catch you this Friday when we sit down with comedian Miss Monique Licity. I think that's her name. But thank you guys for tuning in to Inspire Talk, and you guys have a great evening.
Great.
Thank you for having us,
Thank you
Shonda.
so much for having us, Shonda.
Not a problem. Bye bye
God,
now.
All
God's
right.
bless.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Hold on, you guys.